spirit is rising, she's rising, she's rising. The spirit is rising, it's rising, it's rising. The spirit is rising, they're rising, they're rising.
Happy New Year, Risa. Happy New Year, Coven.
Hi, Coven friends. Hi, listeners of the Missing Witches RX branch of the podcast. This is the podcast where Amy and I get to hang out with each other. I'm Risa, and we give each other prescriptions on how to survive and re-enchant our lives under the horrors of late stage capital. Welcome back.
Welcome back to a fresh new year. How was your New Year's Eve, Risa?
It was magical. We had a three-family sleepover in the country. We walked on frozen marshland. We had a little dance party. Little kids picked songs and we danced. Um, the morning of New Year's Day, we were all sitting around the table, and there was like a lull in the conversation, and my 5-year-old May Marigold sang, "I used to call me on my telephone. Lately, I need my love. Call me on my telephone."
She's got that hotline bling.
She's got that hotline bling. She's also woke up screaming the other day. Um, I'm still standing, feeling like a little kid. She's in her Elton John era also. So that has me feeling fairly good about the year.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. How about you?
I made a solemn vow with myself to sort of dispense of the urgency of the
Mm.
holidays.
Mm.
Normally, I mean, part of it is because my spouse works a lot, so I always felt like this is our time, and I have to cram this into this time because it's our time, and
Mm.
it got stressful. And this year he had a little bit of extra time off, and I just like I say, I just dispensed with the urgency. I was like, whatever we do, it'll be great. You know, like I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to make a simple Christmas dinner that we'll take over to, my in-laws, his parents' place. And I didn't try to make some insane, end of the world buffet with everything. I just made a simple dinner, and I just tried to keep everything unurgent. Like, I would like to go for a walk in the woods today. Doesn't matter what time. We don't have to be on my insane schedule that I try to keep to. And it was so nice. I just made a decision not to be stressed about the holidays and then wasn't. It was quite a fucking miracle.
Wow, that's some heavy self-management magic.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna, because it's supposed to be a joyful time. And I find that so many people I know, especially because of gendered labor, it tends to be the women that I know who are drowning under wrapping paper and, all of the cookies that they have to make and all of the expectations that they have to provide joy for,
Yeah.
everyone in their lives. And if they don't provide Christmas joy, then Christmas is ruined. And it really is that. I think if mom doesn't provide the Christmas joy, there will be no Christmas joy. In a lot of families, it really is this
Totally.
gendered labor. And so I'm trying to make a political action of undoing that expectation.
Yeah,
I've
you're gonna get the magic I give you. And if you want to make some magic, then step
Yeah,
right up. Step
step right up. And
step
I mean,
right up.
I was I've always been big into magic, not just the witchcraft kind, but just awe and,
Mm.
excitement and oh my goodness. And, I'm a big lover of the holidays because of the absurdity of this is our specific soundtrack, and this is when we pull a tree into the house. And this is,
Yeah.
I'm just a big fan of the theater of the absurd that comes at most holidays, but specifically Christmas. And so it's not like a grind or a bear for me, but my whole life that was me. I was responsible for like wrapping all of the Christmas presents for my whole family. Otherwise, no magic. I would
Yeah.
put up the Christmas tree. I would decorate the Christmas tree by myself, like
Oh,
my parents,
sweet.
because I was like so intent on there being this like Christmas joy,
Yeah.
and I still do that, but I'm not like, oh, there's got to be Christmas joy. I'm like, maybe a little Christmas joy right now. Maybe a little. I'll put up some lights. I'll do this. I'll do that. But
Mm.
yeah, it's been amazing to just release the pressure on that.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know that. Oh, honey.
Oh, the thing about me being the Christmas angel of my whole family for
Of
my whole
course
life.
you were.
Of
Of
course.
course you were, because I know them and I know you, but oh man.
Yeah, I
You
remember.
are a Christmas angel. You've always been my Christmas angel since the first time we went to the strangest small neighborhood Christmas parade and you lost your shit screaming at Santa Claus.
I believe in magic.
I
Like it,
know.
to me, it's like I'm really into metaphors, but also like, and not everything is a metaphor. Some of it is like very real. And at
Mm,
some point, I also like to make up my own. So at some
mhm.
point, you know this, Risa, but maybe our listeners don't, that I decided if you can get the parade Santa to wave at you, then that's like an amazing omen, like good luck and all this. So yeah, I will make sure parade Santa sees me and hears me.
Parade Santa not only sees and hears you, but like is delighted by you and like believes in magic again because of you. Because and then it became all of us just screaming and waving and laughing our faces off, and it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I felt less drowned in plastic this year. We did like an all thrifted Christmas, in our immediate family. Some parents and great aunts went off the fucking rails, but it's like you do it all thrifted, like almost zero plastic Christmas, all recycled paper, and then you go to a family party and someone gives your kid a thing where like you shake a giant plastic box and giant plastic beads glue on the paper with the plastic, and then the plastic explodes all over the house. But we did our best, and it did kind of reduce the also the impact on Mark. I think some of our listeners might know that Mark is an artisan, my husband, and he just it's really visceral for him. Like he's like in pain, physical nausea and pain at waste, and the accumulation of plastic in the world. And he just doesn't really buy anything. He makes or thrifts everything. And he doesn't really put that pressure on other people to live that way because, everybody's doing the best they can, making their concessions where they can. But Christmas used to be really, really, really hard on Mark. And it would sort of be the start of like a dark part of the year. Just feeling so out of step with everybody around you who you love's values. It's really hard, and physically like just accumulating just piles of stuff from the dollar store just because mom felt like they had to fill the stocking, and that whole pressure, it's kind of
Yeah.
playing out on all these different parts of our systems and in our
Yeah.
bodies. We're filling our bodies with microplastics from this desire to just take care in a way, and so it felt good to divest from at least some of that a little bit more each year.
Yeah. Certainly in the past, I have like fallen for that scam of wanting like the cinematic
Totally, me too.
piles and piles of like beautifully wrapped and more piles. And is the
Hmm.
pile big enough? And, I don't want anyone to be disappointed, but I also want to have that cinematic, movie Christmas with the.
Yeah,
But then you watch and people are like opening and flinging paper. And then when you're left, like, it's just like a pile of shit.
just garbage.
Like I had this like revelation one year where like we were done and then I looked around at like the pile of, pretty paper that was just gonna get, maybe recycled, maybe not.
Yeah.
Like so yeah, I've definitely like I've switched to reusable boxes. I used
Mm.
to get a lot of joy from wrapping presents because it was like a creative, it was like a craft for me. It was like making pretty
Oh
crafts.
yeah, it's still fun to make it beautiful, but
Yeah. But
maybe
I
there's a
just
different
like,
way. Yeah.
yeah, it turned out that it was fine.
Yeah,
Just
right.
using reusable
Yeah.
boxes was absolutely fine. And now they're back in the basement, waiting for
Yeah.
next year when they get to shine again.
Right?
It's nice to release that pressure of more, 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 whether it's the stress you put on yourself or like the gifts that you feel like you have to buy.
Yeah. Even the tree for us this year, we did a new thing where like we had like a crafting day, May, Mark, and I, and we each got to lead one like our version of making the Christmas tree. And so we had these like sticks of rosewood and cedar that Mark had been like drying for months or whatever, because he also is that person. And wire. And so May took three sticks and made like a triangle and then wrapped it in like yarn and lace and lights and hung it. And it's this like really nice wall piece Christmas tree. I made an enormous pyramid of branches with a hook so it hangs over the craft table, and it was like a pyramid Christmas tree of rosewood branches, and then went outside and like trimmed some boughs that were too close to the house and wrapped those on it, and then we decorated it like it was our Christmas tree. And Mark like wet and bent branches to make like an orb and then wrapped it and hung it outside so it's like a chandelier. It's going to stay out there all year. Anyway, it was like overly artisan hippie crafty Christmas. I know it's not for everyone, but it was really satisfying. It's really
Yeah,
pretty.
I love it. My favorite ornaments are the ones that I like made or painted,
Yeah.
or like a friend of mine made or painted. And to have that, we do something, thanks, shout out Heather, called Ritual Soup, where you like bring ritual ingredients to a meeting that we have. And that's when I painted my ornaments at Ritual Soup in December. And it was really lovely to sort of imbue that coven magic into the painting that I was doing.
Yeah, I liked that you were painting them in like hot pink. I'm like embracing pink as my color for the year. I
Yes.
thrifted a new pink hat and a new pink neck warmer. I've never really worn pink in my life, but I'm just like I'm gonna be like a pink witch this year. I'm just like leaning into like it's like kid love and friend love and like just joyful love and gentle love and like non-judgmental, I optimistic, hope for the world love. And I'm gonna wear it every day if I can.
I love it. I love it.
I love
And
that you put it on your tree.
I had like, there's that liminal space between like the 25th and the 1st that sort
Mm,
of like just kind of disappears and nobody really knows what day it is, and that kind of thing. I spent so much time like sleeping and meditating and just like walking in the woods. I feel
mm,
almost like a blank slate, which is a
beautiful.
really nice way to go into the year.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, almost all the rituals I did in December were like focused on peace.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. This is I'm coming from the same. I'm all my ritual work or meditative work is around centering children, the safety and sanctity and sacredness of all children is at the heart of what I'm calling in to our consciousness into the world.
Yeah. That's what I kind of brought for my excuse me, part of the prescription is that it's, I mean, listeners, if you have figured out a way to not lose hope, even if it's just momentarily, um, or ways that you stay hopeful, I would love to hear them. um, for my part this year, I mean, I have one tradition that I stick to pretty aggressively. Like I have been known to like stick in a pair of earbuds at a New Year's party because I like to decide what the first song I'm going to hear of the year is and have that like, set the tone for my whole year. Um, and this year I I went full into the hope of the future of the age of Aquarius. I mean, we can we can talk about like whether it's a real thing or not, but something that I sort of cling to is that my lifespan is so short that I have like no context for what happened 200 years ago or will happen 200 years from now. I feel like I'm at an age now where I sort of am starting to see things repeating, history repeating itself. Like I'm already starting to see that in my 40s. And I know that there's some bigger cycle that I just won't live long enough to see. So I really am sort of clinging, hopefully, to this notion of the age of Aquarius. I want to, first of all, I started with the fifth dimension. Um, I'm sure if you haven't heard this song, listeners, like today is the day. They were like a disco act, the fifth dimension, and they did this amazing medley that's Aquarius Let the Sunshine In. I'm sure you've all heard it, but I'm going to read some of the lyrics anyway. When the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then peace will guide the planets and love will steer the stars. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions. Golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelation, and the mind's true liberation, Aquarius. And the second part is just let the sunshine in, let the sunshine in, like open up your heart. If you're feeling lonely, let the sunshine in, open up your heart and let it shine on in. And then sort of the other side of that fifth dimension coin for me is KRS-One, who does this amazing freestyle that I know I've talked about on the podcast, but like years ago. So if you don't remember me talking about it, here we are again. KRS-One is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and he does this freestyle about how like the Bible is essentially like taken from astrology. So like he talks about Jesus is the sun, but like not the son of a mother, but the sun as in the sun, in the sky. But this freestyle is about how we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Again, if you didn't know this about KRS-One, like you're welcome. um KRS-One raps, if you read the Bible astrologically, it's clearer. The next age will be the age of the water bearer. It's called the age of Aquarius when logic and truth will take care of us. So, in this age of spiritual dignity, you'll see a rise in femininity and creativity meshed with masculinity. You got to get with me. This is your true herstory. Do you want to go higher? And then I just want to bring one more person into this triad of the age of Aquarius, and that being Majin Gonzalez Whippler, who again I've written about, a Puerto Rican academic who has PhDs and is like a science loving witch. She wrote a bit about the age of Aquarius. I just want to read a couple sentences here. Majin Gonzalez Whippler wrote, if we learn to understand the true message of Aquarius, we can overcome the negative forces that are an intrinsic part of Aquarian influence and enjoy an age of great spiritual awakenings and undreamed of material success. And the only way we can understand the Aquarius message is to try to get closer together in a real universal brotherhood where there is only one creed, the creed of love, and only one race, the human race. So this is the hope that I've brought, is that, again, scholars and experts disagree. Some people believe that the age of Aquarius is going to start like 100 years from now. So, like, again, I might not see it, but I can still cling to this hope that May or May's children, Risa, your daughter, or your daughter's children, will actually get to live in this harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. Like, I'm clinging to that we in our short human lifetime just don't understand what's possible. So I'm clinging to that there is this possibility of a whole 2000 years coming up that is going to be focused on both logic and creativity. And I love that too, that both logic and creativity, imagination are a part of this like dawning of a new age. So it gets me excited. It makes me hopeful for a future that is, I feel like violence and war are as much of a part of our humanity as our art and agriculture. But I feel like the scales have tipped, and it's time to sort of reduce those parts of ourselves that are natural, and start doing shadow work so that we're not just like drinking or using drugs or going shopping to try to like stuff them down. Like, really, if we can befriend our shadows, then maybe they won't manifest in violent ways. Again, this is all just, me starting a new year, desperate for hope in a world that seems sometimes hopeless. But I refuse to be hopeless. It's the dawning of the age of Aquarius. The end.
Well, there's songs that I've been thinking of, especially this one song, are so in this same narrative of like going through the shadow work to find each other, to find ourselves on the other side, to like go through the numbness and the trauma response, to really, because it is so painful, to really let ourselves acknowledge how destructive and how detached we've all been, the idea that like that we could find ourselves and find each other in community again, and what that would really look like. I really want to like lead into the potential joy in that. I want to, like, I was having this wonderful conversation with these other parents on New Year's Eve after the kids went to bed about celebrating more this year, like celebrating our own lives and bringing a sense of celebration and joyfulness even into our activism, so that we can, are there ways that we can make our activism more sustaining for us and more appealing to other people, right? Like to not have an association with activism that is like grueling and heartbreaking. Like when you engage with activism, you really have to engage with how fucking complicated and huge problems are, and that can be so crushing when you know that it's more than what you can accomplish on your own. But are there ways that we can make that celebratory, that we can like lean into caring for each other in a way that is I don't know, restorative or something? Anyway, I've been listening to this song on repeat, so this is my RX. um it's Alison Russell's Night Flyer. So super, you can put this song on repeat. And my prescription is you put this song on repeat in a room with like water and a mirror where you can be by yourself. So if the bathroom is comfortable, then it's a great place to do it. If the bathroom is like small or icky or not comfortable, then like find somewhere else. But do it in your room. A little bowl of water and a mirror is perfect. But like there's a repetition in the song. Also, the song is really easy to play on ukulele. It's like a 3-chord song, I think. So if you can get yourself a uke and a tuner, because a tuner will make a ukulele like useful to you. A ukulele will go out of tune in like 2 seconds, and then you'll be like, I'm so bad at playing the ukulele. Why can't I sing along with the ukulele? And it's just because it's constantly out of tune. That's my like beginner tip. You need both.
That is an excellent tip. Excellent tip.
Life-changing tip. I was that person. I got a ukulele and loved it for a month. And then was like, dang, why am I so bad now? Someone was like, girl, you need to either learn how to tune by ear or just get one of those $12 tuners. Um, Also like to give a little hat tip to the metaphor there, like get help to tune yourself with the world around you. That's okay. But yeah, this song, it's really groovy. It's really fun to sing. It's the chorus is a beautiful meditation to repeat to yourself, to call your strength back to yourself. So the chorus is just, yeah, I'm a midnight rider, stone bona fide night flyer. I'm an angel of the morning too. Promise that the dawn will bring you, you. So it's like you can just repeat that, right? I'm a stone cold bona fide night flyer. I am the promise that the dawn will bring me, me. Like I am that promise and I am that night flyer and I am coming through. Um, and it's really, the song is really optimistic, but the song has also, it goes through the dark room where the traumatic thing happened. And she crawls back through her mother's womb to be reborn, to come back out as something that is the night flyer, that is the promise of the dawn. So she like returns to the dark room and goes sort of through that great underworld, great in the sense of enormous, um, passage. And we need the full journey. You know, she lived the trauma and she's offering us this song that was a path out.
Yes. I mean, we talk about this all the time in terms of the new moon, but like we need the dark. We need the dark spots to grow. And again, if you're thinking of like a fetus in a womb, if you're thinking of a seed in the soil, we need a moment of that darkness. And whether you think of that as shadow work or meditation or just quiet, um we need that. And so much of our society is so bent on just like no, 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 happy all the time, how are you doing, I'm great, I'm great too, and then you like go about your miserable life, and so does the person who just like so yeah, I love that, like this idea of having to go back into the dark place in order to be reborn.
And then I also want to bring another Alison Russell song. Because I was watching this video for Demons and it's so fun and spectacular. So Demons is the other song and it's so like kind of funny and joyful, but really political too. And it turns out she created it with the director who also did like Beyonce's Lemonade and Taylor Swift's Eras tour. And they're both from Montreal. And they were like a group of like school friends from Montreal who got back together over Zoom. And then with their other friend, Jacob Tierney, who's an actor director from Montreal, who helped invest in this music video. Go watch it. It's so fun. The coordinated dancers really feeling like they're in a piece with her, and her dancing like a demon, and also repeating this sort of related message. um she said, oh, turn around, look them in the face, they don't like how sunlight tastes, is the repetition of demon in the Demons song. So I offer that too, like let's stop running from the demons of our historical past, um and get into complicated truths, shine that light on them. It's kind of opposite to what we're saying about like going through the dark, dealing with the dark, but it's also like, um, going into those dark places and being honest with ourselves about what's going on there can kind of turn the demons back into something less horrific and less controlling over us. So see them in detail in all their complexity, and then like let's meet and sing together and support each other in our resistance and re-enchantment together. You don't have to do it alone. That's my RX and my wish for this year, this week.
Yes, this is again one of my favorite things about being a witch or claiming the label of witch is that it's permission to live inside the paradox. You know, like both things are true. You know, both things are true. Like talk to the demons, push the demons away. Like both things can be true. And I always go back to, again, we're science witches. We fucking love science. To us, like science is the ultimate magic and the bringer of awe and, answers, but like mostly more questions. But the fact that light is both a wave and a particle, and this shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Like, that's so amazing to me. This shouldn't be possible, or at very least, this shouldn't be the case. But here we are, like, living in a world that is literally and scientifically made possible by the existence of a paradox, where light exists both in a wave and in a particle. And so we can do that too. We can be waves and particles. We don't have to choose.
I think about that all the time. We are both wave and particle, like that whole I was thinking the other day about how like we talk about how animals, this behaviorist debate about animals and whether they have free will, like we pull back and we see them moving in these ways that seem sort of like systemically determined, or that they seem almost programmed, like all ants moving to do this thing or birds doing to do this thing, that it must just be instinct or it must just be something in the wiring. But then I imagine pulling out and looking at humans from that same kind of scale, and like, yeah, there's moments of individualism and personal voice and creativity and like flickers of life and stuff, but there is also this way in which like we would look like um a computer program running, or like we see these like ideas move quickly throughout an entire network, and things happen in ways that look like spooky action at a distance. We very much are particle and wave.
Yes. And what are the like emergent properties? And when I was writing about plankton for one of our kinship meditations, like just reading about the origin of plant life on Earth and how,
Mm.
it was like iron and rock, but then the iron starts to rust, and then the rust like makes oxygen, and like oxygenated, that's or oxidized, that's what happens. And so like all of these things happening like led to you and I sitting here
Yeah.
talking to our coven friends like right now. It's beyond our understanding, and that is what is amazing about it, because then we can sort of plant that onto our contemporary society, like all of the things that got us here, and then 1,000 years from now, or even 100 years from now, like could we be looking at the dawn of a new age? I think so. I think so.
I think so too. I like to imagine it. And I'm really determined this year to like say out loud and not just in witch circles, but things like I believe we can end poverty. Like I'm really determined to be loudly optimistic. Like I believe in that problems of that scale are solvable, and that if we don't talk about them, or if we let our fear of sounding silly with the scale of our optimism stop us from bringing those conversations into different rooms, then we're delaying working on them. So let's fucking work on them. I believe we can end poverty and save the world, and I want to work on it with people who also believe that we can do that.
Yeah, there's someone in our coven space. We did like a mega thread of goals for the coming year, and one person has like a pretty lofty goal, And then they sort of like said later, like, maybe it's too grandiose. And I made sure to tell them, like, this is a safe space for the grandiose. Like, here we believe in making miracles, and we believe in each other's ability to make miracles. And we need to speak these things into existence. Like, how many people have you had in your life? I know I've had many who I'll be like, I'm gonna this or I'm gonna that. And they'll be like, oh, you can't do that. Or you're never gonna do that. Like the simplest thing, you know, oh, you're never gonna do that. Well, I did already. So why can't we like transfer that onto the loftiest of goals? We can. We can't, because we know, like, based on resources and like all of our facts that we're bringing to the table, that we can do this. We are light and particle. We can do this. It's just that I don't know. I would love to, and if anybody can recommend a book about this for me, I would love to read A History of Greed. I want to know about the origins of greed, because I feel like everything that is like quote unquote wrong with the world comes down to that. Comes down to wanting it for myself. And if I want it for myself, that means I have to take it from you. And it doesn't matter if I already have enough. I want more and I want more. And I'm going to hoard wealth until I have more money that I could possibly spend in 10 generations. And I'm going to use that money to fucking fly to Mars instead of, like make the planet I'm already on livable. Like we can. It's just like those, like, you know, my brother-in-law whose constant refrain was like, you're never going to do that. You can't do that. You're never going to do that. And again, like, here I am. I've done all the things that he told me I was never going to do. So I want you to, listeners, Coven, like, think about that when you have these lofty ideas like ending war and ending poverty. Think of that, the voice inside your head that's like, you're never going to do that, as like some crappy brother-in-law that you don't need to listen to. Like, prove him wrong. Let's prove them all fucking wrong.
Yeah, and find people with whom you can whisper those most grandiose dreams out loud. That's my wish for you.
Yeah, let's dream fucking grandiose this year.
Let's dream fucking grandiose this year.
And blessed fucking be.
Blessed fucking be. We love you.
World's drifting through me, and my life is all to me. I love myself and all me. I love myself and all of me, all of me. I love myself and all of me. Love myself and all of me. I love myself and all of me.
If you want to support the Missing Witches project, find out how at missingwitches.com.